is you're still who you are. I'm still Terry Kozard, regardless of what technology it says about me or what email address I might be using to log in. I am still the identity in this circumstance. But when you do all those really awkward things where under one condition I'm T Kozard, under other conditions I'm Terry Kozard, and I've got to manage those things, it really creates awkward experiences, insecure environments, and just a pain in the backside for your users. So we believe we've got a much more elegant way to do that with far less effort, and we can do it very, very quickly for you.
I love it. Well, without further ado, maybe you could take us a little bit through cooking. We've seen the recipe, we've seen the ingredients that we're going to be working with today. Maybe give us a little flavor for what's cooking in the kitchen.
Let's do it. So what I have here is I've actually got we're trying to get to an application. For demonstration purposes, I'm using an old application because it's a little more fun than just the modern stuff that anybody can integrate with. So here we're just putting up a web page that just puts them in there. It's just HTML. You can make it look however you want. This is just what I decided that I wanted to do. And so I've got a new user, and they're a part of the company that just got acquired. They're Nuco. And so this Nuco employee, John at nuco.com, wants to go into the application. So all well and good. So he's going to go off to there. He just puts his email address, and we automatically know that based on Nuco employee, we're going to go ahead and have them go to Okta, and then they're going to go ahead and log in. And lo and behold, you get to the application. Very exciting and dynamic capabilities there. Now I'm going to show you the exact same thing for an existing employee. I'll just go and create a new browser here. We're going to go to that same login page, but this I'm going to go in as Sally at Oldco. Now, Sally, she's always logged into Entra. She doesn't even have an account in Okta. It wouldn't even make sense to send her there. So we send her to the right place for the right job. So we allow her to get in from her native capability, log in just as she always does, and then we're into the application. It's just that simple because the identity fabric protects the application, and then we can route to as many places to authenticate, as many places to do MFA, as many places as you need for any of the identity related services trivially.
That's great because this application here that we're looking at, this Sonar Systems HR management screen, nothing got changed here. In fact, we probably didn't have the opportunity to change this because maybe the source code's too old. We just did all those things. But this is the beauty of identity orchestration. What you just showed is not HTML trickery. Oh, I put something in this field and it just takes me to a different page. There was actually identity logic behind the scenes that was routing and checking and making sure those authentication requests were appropriate.
Absolutely. And the logic that we use for that is really up to our customers. The way that I built it for demo is pretty easy. Your new code or your old code, and we can make that decision easily. But if you want to do exotic things, let's say if you're a Nuco employee coming from a different part of the world, I do different steps. I go through more security steps. I do ID proofing, whatever it may be. That's fully in the reach of our customers because that's what identity orchestration is there to solve for.
I love that. And as I'm thinking out loud about this, it's not only do we put in some additional controls, as you were just describing, if somebody's coming from a different region or a different area or different conditions. It sounds like, and I can probably speak from experience, and I think you've been through acquisitions as well, is that there's a lot of demand on the new CO's IT organization to manage identities, which means there's probably a fair amount of risk involved as well as they're starting to think about when do I get rid of market old co and turn off some of the old identities? There's a chance of things actually breaking along the lines. A little bit of a shameless plug here. It sounds like a place for always on and always available identity as a need as well.
I couldn't agree with that more. Yeah, there's nothing but risk when you're making those kinds of decisions because any miscalculation, any mistiming of a step, and people aren't able to do their jobs. People aren't able to transact business with your organization. People aren't able to do the things that are critical for every business to function.
There it is. And so, we've got identity continuity as a solution to de-risk that. We have the concurrent IDPs that you have here. So what we just walked through, the organization Nuco could take their time then to merge Sally and her team into this application, into Okta, I should say, if they ever choose to. There may be actually a business case for them to maintain the discrete and separate IDPs.
Absolutely. And we've got customers that have done both, that they say, look, we want to turn off Okta over time, but I want to have a little breathing room. That's one valid use case. So they do this IDP picker kind of an approach for 4 months, 6 months, whatever that looks like. And then we have other people that says they're always going to be autonomous business units, but they still share some systems like benefits and HR and those kinds of things. So there's still always going to be different ways to authenticate, but we do share some systems in the overall mothership, as it were.
That's right. That's right. And then in a divestiture scenario, you may maintain them in the common IDP that they had at the original co as they get spun off into a new business unit. There may be a reason to adopt another IDP, but in doing so, you're able to seamlessly make this all happen. And I think the most critical thing that we are sharing here is that the time to value for that transaction, the teams haven't lost any of their efficiency. They're able to get the resources they need the minute after that deal is announced on the wire, the minute after this hits the market and people know that the acquisition or the divestiture has happened, they're still getting their business done. They're not waiting weeks or months to get access to key resources.
That's exactly right. So we believe this is a really interesting and compelling need for organizations that are acquisitive or spin-off companies in any regularity, because we are the easy button for those kinds of things. We can do it whenever you want, however you want, in a way that doesn't impact your application owners at all. And so it really is a very powerful paradigm.